What's going on, fellow A-Plusers? It is I, your Morphinominal host, Adam Perez, back once again with another video for you guys this week. It is, in fact, A-Plus Morphinominal, your stop for your Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider review and news right here over on our main Facebook and YouTube page. So thank you very much, guys, for certainly joining us. Sorry about the delay, man. I tell you, it's the difficulty of, one, waking up last minute. Not that I wasn't ready to go, but the sense of like getting my stuff ready to go like a good hour before I even start streaming. What tends to happen sometimes is like I usually get like a case of terrible bad luck. Anytime that I wait like within the next like 30 minutes before I go on air, anytime I start trying to get my stuff activated and ready to go for the day, always takes forever. There's always a problem that winds up sort of creeping up on me last minute. So never again will I wait till the last minute to go ahead and get this computer and stuff started. So yeah, I definitely need to get a new computer in general. I feel like there's plenty of memory on here, but you know, I guess look, we've been doing this stuff for such a long time. There's probably a ton of garbage on here that I probably do need to do a nice little cleanup of my system, to certainly say the least. So man, if I'm honest with you guys, my mind's all over the place right now. Like as far as organization goes for a very professional live episode of A Plus More Phenomenal, probably not happening today, guys. Probably not happening today, since I had to wait like a good 30 minutes just to try and get my computer back up. I'm thankful that when I at least started my Google this morning, it restored all my pages, which we were going to go ahead and break down for today's episode. So if this episode feels like it's all over the place and just really confusing and not a lot like of organization happening, it's because it's the truth, guys. It's because it's the truth. Today has been a rough start to the morning, so hopefully we can certainly make it a better one. So thank you very much, guys. Everybody's asking me Windows or Mac. I'm a Windows guy. Mac is for the rich people. I don't got that type of money, guys. If you guys want to help me out get a Mac computer, feel free to join my Patreon. I definitely will go a long way. Shout out to some people, man. Enrique's in the house. We got Johnny Marrero here. Frankie joining us with his presence. Power Rangers Legacies in the house. Koala's here today. Who else we got? Blossom's in the house. Thank you very much for coming through. We got AJ in here. Adam says he shaved his head. Can I have your fro now? No, maybe when I shave my head, I'll give it to somebody. Who else we got in here? Shadow Nova Productions in the house today. Thank you very much. Sarav, you're here also. Thank you very much, man. Good to see you. Is that everybody? Let me keep scrolling. Let's see. Neo the Fault. What's up, Neo? I'm planning on checking out your new Matrix movie soon. Looking forward to that. We got Emmanuel in the house. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Yeah, me and the girlfriend actually just finished watching the Matrix trilogy. She had only seen the first one, so I introduced her to the second and third, and she was a big fan. Charles, what's up, Charles? Appreciate you coming through. Thank you very much. So yeah. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us today and kicking off your weekend right, man. I got to tell you, crazy ass news this weekend. For those of you who do watch other Power Ranger YouTubers, Poor Ranger Liz wind up giving us a massive update to her channel this past week. She's going to be saying adios to her Ranger Weekend Review show. She is going to be continuing to do more content, I believe. But you know, life, man, life happens. Life gets the best of us sometimes. And trust me when I say the idea of trying to make a weekly live show is not the easiest to do. You would think maybe just turn on the camera and talking about some stuff is easy. But as you guys can see here, just having to do issues that come up with things for live programming from time to time. But it definitely takes a lot out of your week to certainly get ready for your live sort of weekly episodes. So especially with her, you know, having kids and being married and stuff, like I'm sure there's a ton of other stressors in her life that are certainly going on that I personally haven't even had to deal with yet, right? Like I'm about to have a child here myself soon this upcoming December, God willing, everything's fine and healthy and things like that. But I'm sure there's going to be added stresses on me too, having to help, you know, raise a kid, raise my son, and also juggle responsibilities of not only a full-time job, but also, trying to push content out on YouTube. I'm sure it probably pulls you in a bunch of million directions. So I'm glad that Ranger Liz, for the most part, is at least going to be sticking around in the community and part of the fandom, popping videos up from time to time. I don't know what type of videos she's planning on making, but maybe one day if she ever wants to collaborate, maybe not do something fully on her own, but if she wants to ever come on to APlus More Phenomenal, would certainly love to have her, especially in regards to maybe like some of the lightning and toy collection stuff, since she is such a big collector of that type of stuff. But definitely best wishes to Ranger Liz. Again, she's not getting ready for channel, but she is at least finishing off Ranger Week in Review with her 200th episode. So I think there's maybe 2 weeks left of that for her, and then she will be just doing regular videos on her channel, whatever that might turn out to be. So yeah, crazy stuff going on this week, man. Crazy stuff. Not too much in regards to Power Ranger news. We kind of talked about the Power Ranger news that was made official this week, last week a little bit, but we'll definitely go ahead and talk about it. So we've got maybe about 4 or 5 topics that we're going to get into today for you guys. So definitely thanks for joining us, and sorry again for the last minute getting stuff together. Let's see here. A couple other people wind up jumping. The JPN. What's up, Japan? What's up, the Japan? Good to see you in here as always. Shadow Nova says, "Yo, what? Congrats, Adam. I'm assuming you maybe you missed the announcement last week that we wound up giving, but yes, I'm going to be a father. Me and Cindy, my girlfriend, are in fact having a baby boy, due December 22nd. We'll see if it makes it here then or earlier. We'll definitely see. But a lot of stuff certainly happening behind the scenes here. I'm getting this office ready. As you guys can see, I painted the wall. I've got some stencils that should be coming in this weekend. There's plenty of more to certainly add, but I want to get this wall completed so that I can start putting stuff up here around the office together, because we're working on the baby's room also, and I do want to go ahead and transition and start moving over to that. So October, November, guys, once I'm done with doing my videos, yeah, everything else is dedicated towards getting this house ready for this little monster that's about to hit us. But with that, guys, I guess we should just start getting into this week's topic, shall we? Our first topic this week, guys, we talked about it last week, but it is officially made official here. And that's one of the things that we even said last week. Like, it would not surprise me if once October winds up dropping, if the official Twitter page and Facebook page of Power Rangers gives us an official announcement. And lo and behold, like clockwork, ladies and gentlemen, this week, they have in fact revealed to us that yes, Power Rangers, the remainder of season 1 of Dino Fury is coming to Netflix. I mean, they even went ahead and put together these great little graphics for us here. Second half of season 1 coming to Netflix. Got one with the Rangers and then one with just simply the graphics and the text. So, we already ran it last week, the story last week, as it certainly, as it being official. And I kind of told you guys also, comicbook.com for the most part, pretty reliable source. They do get a lot of exclusive and great Power Ranger news there, some interviews and stuff from time to time. And anytime that they roll out those articles of what's coming to Netflix, that type of stuff is built for Netflix solicitation. Like, that type of stuff is put together. It's not like comicbook.com just went to and just put together all the coming soon stuff themselves. That information, I would not surprise me if it in fact does come from Netflix themselves. So the fact that they rolled it out, some people were kind of questioning whether or not it was true or not. We were telling you guys here, like, no, this is definitely happening. Expect an announcement rather soon. And Power Rangers definitely went ahead and gave us it. So the levels of anticipation continues to skyrocket, guys. October 15th will in fact be the big day. Now, Nickelodeon will in fact this upcoming Saturday, not today, but I believe upcoming Saturday next week, they will in fact be dropping a brand new episode for us, episode 12, which has not been aired as of yet. So September 9th will be episode 12. So I probably will be getting up rather early to go ahead and check out that episode. And then, of course, we'll definitely go ahead and bring you guys our review for episode number 12, because then on the 15th, which is Friday of next week, next Friday, well, not next Friday, but the following Friday, October 15th, all the episodes of Dino Fury will be available on Netflix. But make no mistake, Nickelodeon will also be dropping its episodes as well, brand new. So it's not like episode 9 or October 9th, we'll get episode 12, and then all the episodes will be there on Netflix October 15th. And then that following Saturday, the 16th, no episodes for Nickelodeon. That's not how it's going to go. That 16th, they will be showing episode number 13 also. And I expect that to certainly continue until Nickelodeon finishes off all their episodes. So they will be airing their episodes, even though they still will be available first over on Netflix. So if you don't have Netflix, don't worry. You can still watch new episodes, but just over on Nickelodeon as they air weekly. We talked a little bit about last week too, the fact that I'm kind of wondering if this is going to be what the release schedule is going to be like for season 2 going forward on Netflix. I mean, it's no surprise, right? Netflix has the option, if they want to, for season 2 to drop all the episodes. But I almost feel like they may execute it the same way that they did for this season, right? A part 1 of the season early in the year, and then maybe a couple of months later, the second part to it. So either option is certainly up in the air, but it wouldn't surprise me if we go with like a part 1 and part 2 of a season with just massive drops of episodes at a single time, maybe like 10 episodes, 10 or 11 episodes at once. So I am looking forward to that. The A Games 10 last week, I believe, also referenced to us that when it comes to Nickelodeon streaming the episodes on their website, they're no longer doing it. I believe Viacom CBS reached back out to the A Games 10 and let them know that they no longer have the streaming rights to Power Rangers, which is why when they air an episode on Nickelodeon now going forward, it more than likely is not going to drop on their Nickelodeon app to watch it, because of the fact that the streaming rights now do belong to Netflix, as they have in fact been dropping those episodes over there also. So a lot of stuff certainly to go ahead and wrap our heads around. But the key factor here, guys, is that Dino Fury is going to be officially back. If you want to watch all the episodes for the remainder of the season, that's going to be an option for you starting October 15th. So go ahead and mark your calendars, guys, because it's definitely here, and I'm pumped for it, man. I'm pumped for it. I've been seeing, I have muted a lot of hashtags like Power Ranger spoilers, Dino Fury spoilers, so not a lot of that stuff actually is dropping over on my Twitter handle. So shout out to anybody that is talking about spoilers and using the hashtag. It really is going a long way and is very appreciated, at least by me, who wants to try and avoid spoilers at all points. So honestly, outside of the outside of the Tessa Rao is Izzy LGBTQ thing for Power Rangers, outside of the Lord Zed episode for the most part. And there's still things about that episode that I'm not privy to or not fully understanding as of yet. Outside of that, I have not been spoiled by anything yet. But I will say, I have been seeing people really love the remainder of season 1. I've seen some really great compliments, some people shouting out the cast and crew, Simon Bennett also, of how much great work they've certainly done with this first season of Power Rangers, and how some people are really coming around to enjoying Dino Fury, or at least really appreciating the fun that's sort of brought back into Power Rangers. So while I have no idea what the second half of season 1 certainly is going to hold for us, my level of excitement continues to grow. I mean, I definitely know we're going to be getting the Ion debut in here. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe before October 15th, the series itself should be wrapping internationally for season 1. So I believe after I want to say maybe like this week might be like the last couple of episodes for this season, if they haven't already finished the show internationally with the spoilers and stuff. Just in time. So I'm assuming once the international spoilers finish, that's when they're going to be dropping here on Netflix. But it does make me wonder about the future going forward. If they're still going to be airing this stuff internationally before they drop on Netflix, sort of thing. I really hope not. I just feel like if you have streaming rights with Netflix, just drop it all at once for everybody, whether they be in the US, UK, Australia. Just drop them all on the same day. going forward to just completely eliminate international spoilers. Because as much as I want to avoid Dino Fury spoilers and Power Ranger spoilers, the time and effort of just going onto Twitter and having the duck and dodge stuff is a little bit too much. So help us out, Hasbro, and eliminate those international spoilers as we go forward. I was just thinking to myself the other day, like, if there's anything in Dino Fury that I would like to see that we have not seen yet, and it's probably a bit of a reach, I know, but I don't know why. A part of me still wants to see Tyramigo from Rio Soldier adapted in some way, like a little miniature T-Rex robot. I think would really go a long way. Like, for me, I always thought that would make a great sort of toy product, for kids. Like, if you can really give Tyramigo a great sort of personality and add him into this series in some way or another. Granted, they didn't handle the beast spots very well from Beast Morphers, but I always thought a smaller Tyramigo would be really great, not only for the show itself to just add another personality on there. Maybe that's what Solon is taking up the spot for a Tyramigo adaptation. But maybe an episode would be cool. Like, what if Zato's T-Rex got shrunk or something like that, right? Like, we're dealing with a bunch of what if episodes over on Disney Plus right now. Let's throw another what if episode in here for Netflix. For Dino Fury, I think that would be pretty cool. But I'm excited, man. From all the episode descriptions I've read so far of what we're going to be getting, again, the episode descriptions definitely do not do this show any justice, and that's what Simon Bennett mentioned, was the idea that these episode descriptions were meant to sound as bland as possible, so that you come back to watch the episode and are surprised and find some really great sort of nuggets and character reveals, storyline reveals, and things like that. And I'm expecting quite a few. Just from some of the reactions that we've had so far in this season. So, guys, yeah, mark your calendars. October 15th, Power Rangers Dino Fury will certainly be dropping. And I've had some suggestions on how I should certainly review this season. And if I could be frank, there is a part of me that still wants to review them on a weekly basis. Like, I know all the episodes are going to be dropping on the 15th. And granted, I may just sit and binge watch all of them. But then maybe I may just go ahead and rewatch the episodes once a week to maybe get ahead of some of the reviews that we're going to be dropping for you guys. So maybe there's a part of me that will continue to follow the Nickelodeon path in regards to when I'm dropping some of these reviews. Doesn't mean that I will not have already watched the entire season, because I definitely, if it's available to me, I probably will be watching it, but I may just trickle out my episode reviews to match that of Nickelodeon's release schedule. But definitely go ahead and let me know what you guys think in regards to that in the live chat or the comment section box below. I am wondering if that's me just waiting a little bit too long. And again, it's just the idea of me already having so much content that I'm creating. Because remember, not only do I have a full-time job, but this isn't my only YouTube channel that I do. Also, I create other content for APlus Hero Report. If you're big Marvel and DC and movie fans, so the idea of 11 new episodes dropping at once, I don't know if I want to do like 2 or 3 a week sort of thing. But again, I'm willing to take suggestions also. But listen, without spoilers, if you guys have at least watched the international episodes so far from Dino Fury, what are you thinking of the season so far for season 1? Again, no spoilers, but give me a brief little highlight of what you've thought of the season so far, if you've gotten the opportunity, because I'm pumped, and I'm so glad to know that at least beginning next week, we will in fact be getting brand new episodes around here. So bring it on, Dino Fury and Hasbro. I think they've made some magic here, and I'm excited to see what they create. And first and foremost, I love the fact that we got Ion on the front of this graphic here, really showcasing us that we got ourselves a brand new character that we're going to be getting introduced to. And if there's any storyline, guys, like outside of the Void Knight stuff, any storyline that I'm really fascinated in, it's definitely the relationship and possible animosity between Ion and Zato. I mean, just from the episode descriptions alone of knowing that they're going to be having a bone to pick with some people, some tension between them, some dark, mysterious past that we're going to be clearly learning about these characters. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I hope it's certainly golden. Let me see what some of you guys are saying now that we do have an official return for Power Rangers. Are you loving this? Are you pumped about this? Blossom says she cannot wait to see the rest of Dino Fury. Me either. Me either. Sarav says he had his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, Sarav. Hope you had a fantastic time. Mikey, what's up, Mikey? Good to see you in the house too, man. Thank you very much. We got Koala's loving Dino Fury so far. Don't worry about a Shadow Nova. We appreciate it. We appreciate it anytime you are able to certainly join us. But thank you for the well wishes, man. Let's see here. Power Rangers. Oh, wait, where'd it go? Oh, never mind. Yeah, I was kind of I was hoping that maybe Netflix would have a trailer for us. The A Game 10 just said there is no Netflix trailers for episodes 12 through 22. I was hoping that they would drop something at least. Not complaining, but I definitely would have liked to have seen it. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Mikey, he says, no spoilers. I'm watching the rest of Dino Fury. I love the Gold Ranger. Dino Fury is one of my favorite seasons. Damn, nice, Mikey. Nice. Thanks for that insight, man. I'm glad that you tend up being a big fan of. I am kind of curious. Were you a fan of Dino Fury for the first half of the season that you saw? And still even a bigger fan and really love this season? Or did this second half of the season really sort of change your mind in regards to it? I would be kind of curious to know, but I'm glad that the Gold Ranger is impressive, man. Because for me, I'm really eager to see what his personality is like. Like, I wouldn't surprise me if this guy's got some swag and confidence about him. I just don't want him thirsty, quite like Kanalo was, but I wouldn't mind that same level of energy just devoted to something else. Johnny says, "I'm so excited, Adam, and I knew that it would happen." Yeah, I believe you might have called it, Johnny, in regards to Netflix getting these episodes before Nickelodeon. Enrique says, "Is Hasbro Pulse 2021 going to release a trailer for Dino Fury season 2?" I don't believe so. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's a extended trailer for season 1 as it wraps up, but I believe Hasbro PulseCon is like this month, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't, especially this month, and then when you've got Netflix getting ready to drop the episodes. I don't know if they're going to be ready to look forward to season 2 as of yet. But you never know. You never know, Enrique. I'm sure they're going to have some incredible things to show us at Hasbro, though, in general. Adam says, "Thank God Nickelodeon's phasing out Dino Fury. They were horrible to Power Rangers since after Samurai." Yeah, they definitely were. I think they were just upset that they weren't producing it, if I'm not mistaken. So it definitely wasn't one of their shows. But we'll see how Netflix treats it. I've never really been one to notice Netflix to take that initiative also in regards to its promoting. I mean, it does put out posters and trailers and things like that. So maybe we'll definitely, I'm hoping, if anything, maybe they'll be a little bit ahead of the game. Because with Nickelodeon, it always felt like a week or two before the episode itself returns, that's when they want to start like notifying you, like the week beforehand, sort of thing. Whereas Netflix, I'm hoping they at least give us a little bit of a heads up, if you will. I mean, I know Netflix, they've added like a coming soon section to their streaming service, so you can see what the next couple of shows and movies that are coming out within the next couple of weeks, sort of thing. But unless you're truly paying attention, I mean, they may drop trailers, they may drop posters from time to time. So we'll see how Netflix treats it. We'll see how how they treat it. I mean, look, if they're spending money towards licensing it, I'm sure they probably want it to be successful and draw in viewers. So they have a reason to certainly want to promote it. But we'll see. We'll see. Common Rider, what's up, Common Rider? Appreciate you certainly coming through. So Rob suggests do a weekly review per usual. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I love it. I love it. Koala says it's amazing. You will like it. Talking about the upcoming season. Marcelino says season one was good, but Javi needs more focus episodes, and I can understand that. If anything, it would not surprise me if we get more focus for him in season two. Same thing with season one. For beast morphers, like there are some characters that definitely maybe don't necessarily get that shine, but season two might flip the script and have some other characters actually get pushed out into the forefront. Shadow Nova says, I only seen episode 16 and it was really good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Glad you enjoyed it. Brian, what's up, Brian? I appreciate you coming through. Ooh, Mike even says it gets better. Ooh, okay, okay. Oh, he says he's got Zach vibes. Interesting. Okay, okay, okay. I might be able to rock with that. What's up, S Chroma? Appreciate you coming through today. Thank you very much. Brian Lee says his Netflix will be Dino Fury release season two up to episodes 1 through 22. Well, we haven't gotten to season two yet. So if anything, I mean, who knows? Netflix has that option if they want to when it comes to season two to drop all the episodes. I'm still under the impression though that when it comes to season two, that they'll still drop it the way that they just dropped season one in two parts. Part one, maybe episodes 1 through 11, and then part two, episodes 12 through 22, I would assume for season two, but I could be wrong. Koala says he loves episode 20. Frankie, big fans of episode 20 also. That was definitely on one of my that's definitely one of my um episodes that I remember picking out, thinking to myself, when we were looking at the episode descriptions, like, yeah, I really definitely want to go ahead and tackle episode number 20. It sounds pretty good. Power Ranger Legacy, are you excited for Hasbro's movie in the future? I'm not that hyped. I just want to finish off Dino Fury. Nothing wrong with that, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm excited. If anything, I'm very eager to certainly learn more. I think a lot is certainly riding on this Hasbro movie, so I definitely am paying close attention and looking forward to it. All right. Let's see here. Looking at some last minute comments. Power Rangers Ready says, I said this on Twitter. I wouldn't mind if Hasbro takes 2-year break after Dino Fury. I might take an exit after Dino Fury. To me, it's already a perfect series this far. I have doubts, just me. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. So you're just not gonna watch anything Power Ranger related after Dino Fury, or like is season 1 of Dino Fury all you need? Are you not even gonna come back for season 2? Sometimes I wonder about your mindset there, Power Rangers Ready. How's Cindy and Gadget doing? Oh, they're doing great, man. They're doing great. The girlfriend's going to her job later on today. She's been doing a small little part-time job on the side. But yeah. So Rob, he says, I liked episode 22, barring a few quirks. Is that the Christmas episode or is that the season finale? I believe episode 21 was the season finale. So I'm curious if you meant Christmas or the season finale episode. Oh, he says, I mean, I have no doubts Dino Fury will go downhill in season 2. I will take an exit after season 2. What? Why do you have in your doubts already, man? Like season 2 of Beast Morphers was great. We gotta turn you from being somebody so pessimistic to being something more of an optimist. Power Rangers Ready, man. Jared, what's up, Jared? Appreciate you coming through. Well, now that the first season's done internationally, now just have to wait till Nick get the rest of the episodes. Well, I mean, you don't have to wait till Nickelodeon, unless you don't have Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, then yeah, you definitely have to wait for Nickelodeon to get the rest of the episodes. But again, October 15th, the rest of the episodes for season 2 or for the second half of season 1 will in fact be dropping on Netflix. So you don't have to wait till Nickelodeon. But yeah, if you don't have Netflix, then you certainly will have to. So Rob said he said I meant episode number 21. So thank you for clarifying that for me. Emmanuel, he says, I love Dino Fury, my favorite ever season of the show. Wow, that's bold words, man. I love it, Emmanuel. I love the confidence. That's pretty badass. All right, guys. So with that out of the way, if anything, we'll probably move on to our next topic for you guys. This one a little bit impromptu. A little bit impromptu. Um, a little bit impromptu, kind of last minute. I've been having some people hit me up on Twitter this past week um to talk about this topic, or at least bring a topic to my attention. And I've been battling back and forth as to whether or not this is something that I even want to talk about or even bring up. But I did see a video yesterday by ST that kind of inspired me to want to talk about it a little bit. I'm glad that he at least covered it in regards to what we can certainly expect, or at least his speculation in regards to things. So I didn't even make a thumbnail for this, to be perfectly honest with you. This is very much a very impromptu sort of addition to this week's breakdowns and stuff. But this past week, a very good friend of mine over on Twitter, at Jinsaku, he's popped up here from time to time. You can find him on Twitter as Jin's Revenge, but he goes by at Jinsaku. He pops in here from time to time whenever he gets the chance. I don't know if he's here today or not, but if anything, he had some pretty interesting stuff to go ahead and reveal to us. As over on Twitter, he dropped Power Rangers 2023 reboot leak script notes, and he has a thread in it. Now, I want to clarify here. Let me see if I go ahead and pull this up. I want to clarify here that is it going to let me share? Probably not. This fucking computer is just not doing what Adam wants it to do. All right. Well, while my computer freezes, and doesn't want to work for me. Let me see if I can at least explain this a little bit. So Jin Saku this past week reached out to me after I wind up seeing a post on that he posted on Twitter for the Power Rangers movies reboots. Well, let me bring it up. Here we go. Yeah, 2023 reboot leaked script notes. I do want to go ahead and bring up the fact that when I spoke with Jin Saku this week, he also did let me know that this was from the 2019. He says, basically, this source I trust FaceTimed me because they got their hands on something pretty cool. And it turns out he had a copy of the full script for the new movie, but it's from 2019. So I don't know what changed or not, but I'm told it's a script that Jonathan Entwistle is going with. So we talked a little bit more about it, but that's the only thing that I will reveal, at least from our conversation that me and Jinsaku had, that he's got a trusted source. I don't know who the source is, but he wind up getting his hands on a movie script for Power Rangers back in 2019. Some of the things in this thread I feel like have already been brought up via the Illuminati article that we had back in 2020 that talked to us about some updates for the movie that we had at the time. Some of these these notes that he brings up definitely match that of what the Illuminati might have been talking about, but it definitely goes into even further details here. So let me explain this a little bit. 2019, if this is in fact a 2019 script, understand something real quick. The writer has in fact changed since then. All right. It was Jonathan Entwistle, and I can't remember the writer's name, but he was attached. I think one of the other movies he had plans on working on was like Peter Rabbit 2. They had a script. The Illuminati mentioned the idea that they might have had an opportunity to look at the script, and I am wondering if this is the script that he's referring to in here. I have been told before in the past, at least when it comes to Hollywood and scripts in general, that if a production company or a studio decides that they do not want to use a script and they move on from it, the script is pretty much dead and done in Hollywood. Nobody cares about it whatsoever. So it does become a little bit easier to sort of get your hands on these scripts. Like if you want to go out and find the George Miller Justice League script that was written but never utilized, you can find that online if you want to. I did try and do some searching to see if I could find the script for myself. I personally wasn't able to online, but there is a sense for me to believe that there is a chance or a way to get your hands on a script from Hollywood that's no longer being utilized or has been passed up and they're moved on to bigger and better things. So to get your hands on a script doesn't sound too unbelievable to me at all. What I will say, though, is understand the writer has changed. We now have Brian Edward Hill that's coming in to be the writer of this movie. Now, Jonathan Entwistle, some of his ideas certainly may stick around. So understand when we talk about this script, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't want to talk about it because of the fact that it's old, there are some things that could have significantly changed. 100% of this could not be in the movie whatsoever. 50% of this could be in the movie. 25% of this could be in the movie for all we know. So take this with a massive, massive, massive grain of salt. Think of this as something that we should have gotten, but maybe we're not anymore. I would not expect this stuff to pop up in the movie. I'm just trying to keep people's expectations low. Could some of this still pop up? Absolutely. But make no mistake, this is not the official script for the current movie that we're getting. This is a script from 2019. Things could have significantly changed since then. So again, I just want to put that disclaimer out there. Take this with a massive grain of salt, please. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about this a little bit and just see what this thread actually consists of. let's see here. So the first bit of note is that the Red Ranger is definitely a female and part of the LGBTQ community. And listen, we've talked about this before in the past. The fact that if Jonathan Entwistle has his way, it would not surprise me if if a Red Ranger wound up being a female. It was about, it would be certainly about time, to certainly say the least. And I believe the Illuminati article mentioned this also, that this was a possibility. So that certainly holds up with what we were assuming. He says the team will already be established at the start of the film, not an origin story, which would be interesting as well. I would be interested to see how they formulate that story with us maybe already having a team in play. I'm assuming, if anything, they're already Power Rangers. So I would be fascinated to see how that works out. It also says it'll be 3 Rangers: red, blue, yellow, and then pink and black will be recruited at the end of the movie, but they won't suit up, according to some of the notes. Um, when we did our fantasy casting for this too, one of the things that we've talked about, um, especially I think even going back to the movie rumors and updates from Illuminati, one of the things that we said when we did our fantasy casting was we're kind of under the impression that maybe they'll start off with 3 Rangers. So that's why in my fantasy casting, I went ahead and I picked my initial 3. But I also said, well, if Jonathan Entwistle, if Entwistle wants to add more characters, right? Here's my others for a fourth and fifth, and even a possible 6th Ranger, if you will. So I think we've kind of already been on the impression that when it comes to this movie, there is a chance that we don't get a full 5 Rangers, but maybe 3. So the movie itself, or the script from 2019, seems that that was going to be the case. 3 Rangers, 2 by the end of the movie. That certainly won't suit up. I feel like that could potentially still be in there if they wanted to. This movie is set in its own universe, but they do time travel to the 90s halfway through the movie. But not only did they time travel, but cross to a different dimension. So it's a multiversal story as well, which is interesting to me. I do find that interesting. There is a part of me that wonders, like, if we are time traveling but doing more of a multiversal stuff, if they wanted to go back to the 90s, it could still be MMPR themed, but maybe not necessarily even MMPR themed the way that we knew it, right? I think anytime you jump into a multiversal story, you really have sort of that liberty and that freedom to kind of change things up a little bit if you want. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if Jonathan Entwistle actually took us back to the 90s to an MMPR world where Lord Draken actually like reigns over everybody? Like, wouldn't that be crazy if one of our main villains is actually Lord Draken? Like, the idea of them actually doing a multiversal story, incorporating, past legends of Power Rangers and footage or whatever the case may be. I think the idea of something going a little bit more multiversal would certainly be fun. I mean, they definitely have tapped into that, especially as of late when it comes to Power Rangers. Not just different time periods, but being able to hop through different dimensions, or garnishing other help from other Rangers from different dimensions as well. So that sounds pretty fascinating. It says the Rangers are young and in high school, but it still keeps its maturity, like curse words, adult references, and I love the photo attached to this, kind of like a Stranger Things sort of mentality, which I would be completely kind of open to. So, I think when it comes to Power Rangers, the idea of them being in high school may be overutilized for some people, but for a movie, it works. It works. And this is the last thing, they get multiple suits this movie and multiple different Zords for each universe and timeline, which is fascinating to me. I am wondering how that will play itself out. I believe even the Illuminati article talked about the idea that there would be different suits and Zords utilized, but I think it was under the impression that maybe it had a lot to do with past Rangers or past seasons being highlighted in this movie also. But I am wondering if it's the case of the team itself going through various different iterations or wearing different costumes throughout this. So we'll see. Again, I think some of this stuff lines up with what we had heard previously back in 2008. Let me see if or 2020 when Illuminati brought it up. Let me just double check. Illuminati. Oh yeah, new Power Ranger movie details. Um, what did they say there? It says, yeah, at some point the Rangers will be taken back to 1999 to the 90s. According to our sources, it will feature an all new Ranger team, not necessarily just 5 Rangers, and it will include an original lineup of heroes. That certainly lines up with what Jin Saku's report is mentioning. We are told that Hasbro is looking for a diverse cast of the film, different racial backgrounds, and members of the LGBT community. It says Hasbro's plans to cast a female lead for its upcoming film. Again, that's in the Illuminati article, something that Jinsaku in these notes are in fact confirming was in the 2019 script. Illuminati also says that Lord Zed will be the main villain. We don't have any details of that from Jinsaku's source. It says our source have told us that upcoming Power Ranger movies being developed by Paramount Pictures will feature multiple different looks and Zords through Power Rangers history, right? That kind of almost lines up with what that last note that we wind up getting was. This is away from modern, all the way to the modern era from MMPR. We assume this is Hasbro's attempt to capitalize on toy sales for the movie. So yeah, some of the things that Jinsaku. So I mean, this almost kind of gives me, I don't want to say confirmation, but the fact that Illuminati brought some of this stuff to our attention back in 2020, and now here in 2021, if Jinsaku, if his source in fact did get a script from 2019, I'm telling you, some of the things are certainly lining up relatively well in regards to that for him, to certainly say the least. Character descriptions also, you've got Cassidy, 15 to 16-year-old Latina. She has short slick hair with the side shave. She can be a bit of a troublemaker. She's an adrenaline junkie. She's consistently moves from foster home to foster home and always finds herself in a police station. Loves to get her hands dirty. You also have Tony. He's a 15 to 16-year-old Asian kid. He's a good kid, the innocent one. Always has the highest grades in class and will gladly always remind the teachers to collect homework. His parents are strict, which is why he is the way he is. Never has time for fun. And then you've got Darius, 15 to 16-year-old African American kid. What can we say? He's the popular one. Makes all the girls go crazy. He'll win the prom king votes with no doubt. Plus, he's captain of the football team and a bit of a been on varsity since freshman. He already has recruits all over. I'm assuming trying to pick them up. So yeah, those are the 3 main characters that they had lined. So Latina lead, Asian kid, and African American kid also for its 3. So interesting. And then apparently some side characters also. Tony's parents. There's no Black and Pink Ranger in the movie, but in the base command center, the Black and Pink Rangers is located in the case. The morphers are wristbands that literally can't be removed from the wrist, and when they morph, it forms around the body, kind of like Spider-Man. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, not an origin story. Everyone will be Rangers from the start of the film. We're getting Rangers throughout the whole movie this time, not just the ending. So yeah, those are just some of the ideas here for. Again, this is the 2019 script that Jin Saku is referring to here. So again, take it with a grain of salt, guys. Some of this stuff does line up, but again, I think it is very important to understand that we do have ourselves a completely new writer on board. So some ideas may stick, some ideas may go away, and have something completely different for all we know. Who knows? Maybe they just threw out the entire script and Brian and Jonathan sat back down to go ahead and put this all together. I just remember Brian Edward Hill calling Jonathan Entwistle a freaking genius in regards to this. So there's a part of me that feels like Brian Edward Hill himself is very much excited about what this Power Ranger movie is certainly going to consist of. So I'm cool with the idea of there not being an origin story. It will be interesting to see how we then go about learning some of these characters, because even if it's not an origin story, I do want them to take that time to still be able to flesh out these characters if they want to really understand them a little bit better. And I think that's something that Jonathan Entwistle does really great with his characters. So, but I like that idea. There's almost a part of me that feels like instead of wasting our time learning about these characters individually, that we really might be just thrust into the middle of an action or mission or whatever the case may be. Kind of like the 2017 movie did. I thought they had a great intro into that world, right? Introducing us to a group of Power Rangers that turned out to be Zordon and Rita at some point, some other aliens at some point in time. I love the way that that movie kicked off, just immediately throwing us and thrusting us into the action. If they decide to go that route with this movie, that's cool. But even if they don't, I think the idea that these characters are already Rangers, I'm sure they'll find a creative way to certainly explain or express who these characters certainly are as the movie progresses. Three Rangers, I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely cool with that. I think it would be a great new way to change up the formula a little bit when it comes to how you tell your Power Ranger stories. So yeah, it's exciting, but again, I'm not having any expectations that any of this stuff is going to end up in the movie. But some of the stuff that I've certainly been hearing so far is exciting. So this was definitely a much deeper dive into the 2019 script to see what could have been, and we'll see what actually happens going forward. So yeah, guys, I definitely want to know your guys' thoughts. Um, but yeah, I definitely want to know your guys' thoughts when it comes to the um the Power Ranger movie. What would you like to certainly see kept in there, or changed? I definitely would love to know your guys' thoughts. Let's see here. All right, guys. And with that out of the way, we will move on to our next topic for the day. And this one, though, those are actually probably our last Power Ranger topics. But one of the other ones that I definitely wanted to talk about here for you guys today is we've got ourselves a new Kamen Rider movie that's going to be hitting us this upcoming March of 2023. It's actually quite some time away now that I come to think about it. But Shin Kamen Rider this past week actually had itself a brand new teaser trailer that wound up dropping. We've talked about Shin movies plenty of times on here. Shin Godzilla, I continue to recommend it to people that haven't had the opportunity to check it out. Shin Ultraman is a movie that we were supposed to be getting this year, but due to COVID and restrictions and things like that, they decided to go ahead and postpone releasing that movie. But Shin Ultraman was certainly going to be one of the movies that I was looking forward to. And mind you, all of these movies are created none other by Hideaki Anno, the amazing writer and director behind some great anime back in the day. Neon Genesis Evangelion was a series that I was a really big fan of growing up as a kid. That's the only other work that I've personally have seen him work on outside of Shin Godzilla. But this guy is incredibly popular, incredibly massive in regards to his love for these fandoms. And he's gotten the opportunity to go ahead and create Shin Godzilla, which was amazing. He went and tackled Shin Ultraman, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. And he's got the opportunity now to go ahead and tackle Shin Kamen Rider, like a retelling of these origin stories, but a very much more modern take on them, if you will. And so while we've been teased at the idea of getting ourselves a Kamen Rider, a Shin Kamen Rider movie, This is the first week in which we've actually had a trailer, like a trailer with some footage actually showcased to us. And I thought it would be really fun to go ahead and check it out for ourselves. So let's go ahead and pull this up. Now, one of the things that I absolutely loved about this trailer, and I'm probably going to get kicked with a copyright here, but we'll definitely have to see. But I want to go ahead and bring this up. Can I? Let me just see if is the trailer on here? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can bring this up here. For those of you who have not had the opportunity to check out the trailer, I will go ahead and bring this up for you guys. Now, I have not watched the original Kamen Rider, but I definitely have checked out the opening sequence for it before plenty of times. And I gotta say, man, this Shin Kamen Rider trailer is no joke. This Kamen Rider trailer right here for the movie is literally a shot for shot recreation of the classic Kamen Rider opening. Like I literally watched them side by side yesterday, and it's really uncanny. It's really uncanny. You definitely get to see the type of focus that Ano really brings to this to this trailer. So let's go ahead and check this out, guys. If you have not had the opportunity to do so yet, let me make sure that I've got my volume on because I definitely want to hear it again. Okay, here we go. And again, sorry, Toei, for playing this copyright and shit. It's amazing to me, just exactly like how shot for shot they were able to pull this off. The attention to detail is ridiculous. But it looks so clean. There is sort of like still like a classic 70s aesthetic sort of brought to it. I don't know if it's like the type of filter that it's being filmed in or what. Camera lens, I don't know what it is, but it definitely captures that aesthetic of the 70s, but with a very clean look to it. Like, I love the look of this helmet with the scarf just blowing in the air. The gloves look freaking badass too. I mean, the costume looks clean, man. I mean, it's as close to like a homage to the classic Kamen Rider you could possibly get, I feel like. And then you've got his Spider-Man villain from the very first movie, from the very first episode, if I'm not mistaken. But I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, so they actually came out with 2 trailers. The first trailer is very much sort of the intro to the original Kamen Rider series itself, but just modernized, if you will, but shot for shot. They do have a second one on here that does show more additional footage, not so much from the actual episode itself, but just more footage to go along with that first trailer. But I'll definitely let you guys certainly go ahead and check it out for yourself. But I was a really big fan of that trailer. I absolutely loved it. This actually comes to us gizmodo.com. Says it says in Shin Kamen Rider's first trailer, Hideaki Anno is just living his best life. It says the creator of Evangelion has said goodbye to his world of mecha and hello to one of his lifelong loves. It says at the press conference in Japan today, Shin Kamen Rider director and writer Hideaki Anno, who outside of his association with Neon Genesis Evangelion, previously took on tokusatsu icons Godzilla and Ultraman for his own Shin movies, alongside collaborating with Shinji Higuchi. Revealed the main stars of the film alongside the trailer. We've got The Last Samurai's Sosuke Aikimatsu will play Takeshi Hongo, the young man kidnapped by the villainous Shocker organization and transformed into a superpowered cyborg, only to turn against them and fight back their evil as the very first Kamen Rider. I love that concept for a series or just for a movie itself. Um, in the original series, Ruriki blamed Kamen Rider for her father's death before realizing the truth about Takeshi and becoming his ally in the fight against Shocker. So we actually do we have some photos? Did I have some photos? Yeah, we have the photo of the cast itself here. So we got um, let me see if let me bring this up one more time for you guys. So yeah, we've got the Last Samurai actor Sosuke Ikimatsu, who's going to be playing Takeshi Hongo. So that's who's going to be playing Kamen Rider in here also. And then it says Ace Attorneys Minami Hamabi will be play one of Hongo's closest allies from the original show, Ruriko. I'm not even gonna pronounce her last name, guys. I'm just gonna butcher it. But those are gonna be the two main stars of the series. And then they also went ahead and actually even had some new artwork revealed to us also for Shin Kamen Rider, along with a close-up shot of the very new costume. Very old school, very harkening back to the classic Kamen Rider, but a very much more modern take on it. I love his mouth plate, if you will. Like you can even still see in between the cracks of it a little bit to even make out his face or where his mouth and placement and stuff is. That's a really cool helmet, I can't lie. And even his chest plate, along with the gigantic scarf that he's rocking. Again, praise to Anno here for just really like the idea of having to remake a classic like Kamen Rider for a more modern era. There's a part of me that like you would think would probably maybe push the envelope a little bit, recreating the costume, if you will. But the fact that he does give us a modern version of it, but it's still feeling very much like old school. I love what he's able to create. Like, I do wonder, is this movie set in the 70s also? I'm not quite sure what to make of it as of yet, but everything that I've seen so far just looks beautiful. Just looks absolutely beautiful from here. They even had the actor himself talk a little bit about this upcoming movie. Let me go ahead and pull this up because he did have a quote here from him as well. It says, Shin Kamen Rider trailer and lead actors revealed at the press conference. This is a message from the actor himself, Sasuke Ikimatsu. He says, I can't believe the day has come for me to become Kamen Rider. I think Anno is one of Japan's treasures. It's a great honor to receive such a challenging opportunity to bring back Kamen Rider with him. In this time of great change in the world, people should not be afraid to look deep within themselves, and they should not forget how harsh the natural world is. It is time to leap into a new world, to overcome difficulties, and to enter a new stage. In other words, to transform. I hope to embody this through Shin Kamen Rider. Filming begins soon, but I believe that Kamen Rider is necessary for this world's rebirth. No matter what difficulties lie ahead, I will fight to protect the Earth until the very end. Please look forward to the movie's release in 2023. It kind of gave me chills a little bit. I know Anu is really great at tapping into just the psychological mind and things like that, but I think bringing a character like Kamen Rider, especially this one, with him being a cyborg and having to face off against the people that sort of created him and stuff in the organization. I would be really interested to see Anu's take on just the mindset of Kamen Rider and where he's certainly at. And I think if anybody could certainly bring this to life, to show really the challenges that we face. I love the fact that he says that people should not be afraid to look deep within inside themselves, not forget how harsh the natural world can be, and it is a time to overcome difficulties and enter a new stage. And so I really do think that his character alone will really embody that here in this Shin Kamen Rider movie. So I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to see what this certainly is going to turn out to be. But for a first look, they knocked it out of the park, if you will, doing a great job of paying homage to the classic, but also letting us know that, hey, we're bringing the quality as well. And so hopefully, as filming continues, or once filming actually does begin, we'll finally get ourselves a much better look maybe at the story itself as we get closer. Definitely some time. It's definitely some time away before this movie's released. And a part of me is definitely hoping that with Shin Ultraman in the can, ready to be released. I don't believe we have a release date for that as of yet. I could be wrong, but I am looking forward to seeing what Anno's going to do with Shin Ultraman and now his upcoming new project in Shin Kamen Rider. Again, if you guys have not had the opportunity to go ahead and check out his work, please go ahead and do yourselves a favor, whether that be Neon Genesis Evangelion or Shin Godzilla. I would recommend that you guys certainly go ahead and take out your time out of your busy day and certainly go ahead and check it out. All right, guys. And with that out of the way, let me see what some of you guys are definitely saying. Enrique says, I love the Shin Kamen Rider actor of a young Hongo Takashi. Yeah, I have seen The Last Samurai, maybe like once though. So it's been a minute. So I may have to go ahead and revisit that film and check it out for myself and see exactly how what this actor is going to be bringing to the role. We got Ill in the house. What's up, Eloy? I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but appreciate you coming through today. Harka's in the house also today. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Emmanuel, he says, though I don't watch Kamen Rider, congrats to 50 years. Can't believe PR is soon to be 30 years old. I know it's kind of crazy. I mean, just wrapping my head around the idea that this is what, 50 years old? I believe Ultraman is like 55 years old. I mean, the legacy that these shows have continued to endure over the years is just incredible to me. Incredible to me. Ice Cream Man, what's up, Ice Cream Man? I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming through. Hey, that's interesting. How are they doing Power Rangers Dino Fury on Netflix? They're dropping the episodes, man. Episodes 12 through 22 beginning October 15th. Mark your calendars. Power Rangers and Hasbro have teamed up with Netflix. They got a new deal with Netflix. So they are having the streaming rights put there. So that's where Power Rangers is going. He says, "Oh damn, it's like the original Kamen Rider. It's absolutely ripped from the very first Kamen Rider. Like if you go to episode 1 of the 1970s original Kamen Rider, you look at that intro. I literally watched them side by side yesterday. Super eerie." Gave me great goosebumps, but I think it's a great attention to detail by Anno to one show just absolutely how much he loves Kamen Rider and to pay homage to certainly what came before. He says, I'm tempted to watch the original Kamen Rider before watching the movie when it comes out. I probably suggest that. I would probably suggest that. That's something that I personally might do for myself also, because of the fact that I don't really dabble in Kamen Rider too much. This was probably one of the new projects that they were working on that really caught my eye, along with the Kamen Rider W sequel series that we're going to be getting in Fudo P. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what that's going to hold. So yeah, maybe I should check out the original Kamen Rider series and go back and check out Kamen Rider W also. So those might be my 2 Kamen Rider seasons that I have in store for me. Power Rangers Ready does ask, how many seasons are there of Kamen Rider now? And Neo Fault says, if you put it together, all Kamen Rider media, somewhere around 300 to 400. Yeah, there's a bunch of seasons. I'm not even sure how long each season is, especially back in the day. Like something tells me, I want to say the first Kamen Rider series was maybe like 90 something episodes. I could be wrong though. Heroic, what's up, Heroic? He said, I do hope this Shin Kamen Rider covers a good scope of what OG Kamen Rider was beyond the look. The characters matter a lot in Kamen Rider. Well, I will tell you, Heroic, if there is anybody that you want to focus on characters, it's Anno, the director and the writer of this movie. I definitely just think outside of how great the costume looks, he focuses on like characters' minds and the the psychology that certainly goes into it a lot, especially if you watch his Neo Genesis Evangelion. Like if there is anybody that could bring characters to life, bring you the stakes, let you know what certainly matters, I think we're in good hands with this Shin Kamen Rider. Ice Cream Man says 97 episodes if I remember right. So yeah, definitely in the 90s. There are some long seasons, man. Like even going back and rewatching Go Ranger right now, I'm about to crack the 70s and I'm just thinking to myself like, damn, I'm still watching this series. Yeah, they're long episodes. They're definitely long episodes. Or long seasons, I should say, maybe very early on. I am kind of curious as to when they decide to kind of shorten them up. A little bit off topic, but Ice Cream Man does say, wait, so does this mean future Power Rangers seasons will be on Netflix quicker? I don't know what the release schedule is going to be of Power Rangers seasons going forward. Dino Fury season 2 hasn't dropped yet. Again, I'm under the impression that it might still be a two-parter, right? Episodes 1 through 11 early in the year, and then episodes 12 through 22 later in the year. I'm thinking like March and August, April and August, maybe. I could be wrong. That's just speculation as of right now. We're still getting used to the release schedule. Heroic does say original Kamen Rider is interesting. I just wonder if Anu will acknowledge the more lighthearted kid episode phase of this show, or if he'll stick to the horror vibes of the early episodes. That's a good question. Just based off of the trailer alone and it being literally the very like shot for shot from the first episode, or at least from the first, the opening sequence, it does make me wonder if we are like, is this just a retelling of the first episode? Are they going to go about doing things a little bit different? So they may be very they may stick to the early aspect of the show in regards to just it being its origin story, maybe. So I don't know, Heroic. We'll have to see. This is the only details that we've gotten so far, but I can tell you, Anu definitely respects Kamen Rider for sure and its legacy. So we'll see what they tap into though when it comes to this movie. Certainly a long ways away. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted though once we wind up getting ourselves brand new information in regards to that. Again, if you want to see, this is the cast for Kamen Rider, Shin Kamen Rider, and then of course a close-up look of the costume as well. All right, and with that, guys, we will transition over to our next topic for you guys today. And the next one, I think we actually will talk a little bit. Well, this is not really Power Rangers, but it is action figures. If you guys are in fact interested, we wind up getting a reveal here of some brand new toys to a company called Shodo Super. I'm trying to. It sounds super familiar. I'm not even quite sure if I've seen. I want to say I have seen these action figures before from Shoto, but maybe I'm wrong. But we actually got the opportunity. They're going to be releasing Zyuranger in Shoto super form for you guys, and we actually wind up getting ourselves a first look at some of these. So let's go ahead and actually look at some of these action figures. I really love the design of these, by the way. From the articulation that we wind up having, these almost feel very classic MMPR toys that I wind up getting when I was a kid. I don't remember if they were as articulate, if they were as articulate as they are now. How big are these things? This comes to us from Toku Nation. It says Shoto Super uh Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger release revealed. The next entry in Shoto Super Toy Series has been announced. Beloved fan favorite Zyuranger, also known as the original MMPR team, will be the next Super Sentai in this Minipol series. All 6 Zyurangers will be recreated in exquisite details and with all essential weapons. The Shoto Super Zyuranger set will cost 9,900 yen before shipping and handling, and orders will be open in October of this year. Let's see if it lets me pull up some of the images here. Yeah, here we go. So they do have some pretty good articulation. It looks like around the hips, the thighs, the knees, even the ankles. I don't know if the toes move or not. The wrist, the chest part, elbows, looks like even the fingers, and even has some of the weapons in here also. Here's Zach with his battle axe you got there too. I kind of like it. It looks actually pretty clean. Um, we got Pink Ranger with her bow. I'm loving these daggers, these double daggers that we got from Yellow here. I really love the sculpting of this. These do kind of, I wonder how big these are also. Like they kind of remind me of like the 12-inch Power Ranger figures from like back in the day. That's pretty cool too. He's got the dragon shield on. That's the entire group itself. Man, I really do love these designs. Oh, do they come with a power blaster? Can you put the power blaster together? Oh my god, can you really do that? Yo, if those, wow. And they come with all these accessories, all the maybe that's where I'm remembering the Shoto from. I remember the Megazord itself. Maybe that's what I'm contemplating also. This is a nice set for Power Ranger stuff, man. Like I might actually mind up actually investing money in these designs compared to the ones that we're getting here from Hasbro. Like no offense, Hasbro, but for some reason, like these really pop to me. I'm loving these. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm not the biggest collector when it comes to toys, but if you are a toy fan, I'm kind of curious to see how much these pop to you, because I do think that some of the character designs are pretty flawless. And then even just seeing them next to the Megazord look pretty impressive. And if anything blew me away, it's probably the idea that they were able to put together that blaster. I'm assuming with all the accessory pieces that they come with, you can build your own blaster, and even put them into this team formation if you want to, which looks so fucking sweet. I like what I'm seeing here so far. Shoto Super, you've got my attention, guys. I would love to put this stuff on in the background. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about some of these. He says the whole detailed set for $99. I'm assuming 9,900 yen. Is that what that equivalates to in US dollars? $99. It said 9,900 yen. I don't know what that's equivalent to in US, but if $100 for that entire set, yeah, I feel like that's totally worth the money. But somebody double check that if that's what the yen to from yen to American dollars is. Definitely go ahead and let me know, guys. But that's definitely a brand that I'm not too familiar with, but I feel like I've seen their work from time to time, and it's captured my attention. So I may have to pay more attention to them as well. Like SH Figuarts has always been like has always been a company I've always really loved their designs, and I've actually been eyeing their Ultraman Trigger design. Wouldn't that be crazy if like my first action figure that I actually purchase and own is from the Ultraman franchise instead of Power Rangers or Super Sentai? That would be trippy for me personally, but it seems like it's worth if that is the correct amount of money, $100 for that set. I feel like that's definitely worth it, but I definitely want to. Heroic says, yeah, $89.12, more like it. It does say set, and I think Shoto Brand is seemingly good with the colors and making the details pop out, is what Heroic winds up saying. So, okay, maybe there's an investment there worth tackling, guys. All right. And with that out of the way, we've got two more topics that we're going to be breaking down before we get into your guys' live viewer questions. And we're going to go ahead and transition a little bit over to some Ultraman talk, ladies and gentlemen, because this week, Ultraman Season 2 wind up getting some publicity online this past week, as it is in fact coming. You know, it's been a minute since Ultraman Season 1 aired over on Netflix, so much to the point to where when I actually saw the tweet from Netflix put this out along with this poster that Season 2 was coming, I remember looking at the comments and there were a ton of people in there that were saying, "I didn't even know season 1 was up there. What, Ultraman is actually on Netflix? There's a series?" Yeah, there's a series on there for Netflix. It's been like 2-3 years since the second since we got any new content from that show, but Ultraman is definitely on Netflix. It's very much a CGI sort of animated series. And this past week, Netflix announced that yes, we are in fact getting ourselves a second season. We've talked a little bit about this over the past couple of months, but this is our first time actually getting some promotional work and art from Netflix to go ahead and let people know that a season 2 is coming. Here's the actual poster itself, as we get to see Ultraman season 2 coming 2022. So it will be here next year. I just get Iron Man vibes from this all day long. Like, this feels very much like an Iron Man 3 situation where we got all these different costumes and stuff. Like, I'm waiting for the Iron Patriot to just start to land in the middle of these Ultraman costumes, but they look pretty badass. Again, the Ultraman franchise and universe is so incredibly big, and has had 55 years worth of um, you know, timeline, that there's just so many Ultramen out there that I don't even recognize, that I personally don't know any of these Ultramen. For all I know, that these could be Ultramen from other past series that I'm not even privy to at this particular moment in time. So I am curious if these are some of the Ultramen from the past, if they're new Ultramen that have yet to be discovered, or new Ultramen sort of created just for this series. I personally am not quite sure, but I'm really eager for this, as we've got a season 2 that certainly will be coming. I've been asking questions as to where is my Ultraman season 2 for the past couple of months, and we have been highlighting it a little bit, but we definitely have some details. Let's look into this though, because I want to see if there's any other information in here. This is from Tokusatsu Network. Tokusatsu Network, guys. It says teaser poster for Ultraman anime's second season released. It says the Ultraman anime will have a second season streaming spring of 2022. It says on September 25th, Netflix held Tadum, a Netflix global fan event. During the event, a teaser poster for Ultraman 2 was released. The event featured an appearance from Ryohei Kimura, who voices Shinjiro Hayata. Alongside expressing his passion for the show, he revealed the teaser image for the anime, which is what we have there also. So they didn't take it down his comments or anything he said. So it looks like we just have the teaser poster itself to look forward to. So, I may go back and actually rewatch the first season, because I watched it when it first dropped like 2 years ago. So it may warrant me to actually go back and rewatch the first season and go ahead and get prepared for this. So spring of 2022, Netflix will be dropping its new Ultraman. And I'm sure as we get closer, guys, we'll definitely go ahead and keep you posted in regards to any new reveals, plot synopsis details, maybe new characters, new images that might come out. We'll definitely go ahead and keep you guys posted. But again, here is in fact the official poster for season 2 of Ultraman's anime series on Netflix. So if you are interested in checking out anything Ultraman related, that's definitely one avenue for you to explore. But trust me when I say there's plenty of other Ultraman out there, specifically Ultraman Trigger, which is currently airing as of right now. I believe episode 12 or 11 just dropped last night. Had the opportunity to go ahead and check it out. So if anything, I'll definitely have my newest Ultraman Trigger up for you guys by tomorrow morning. So definitely look forward to that. I'm loving this series. I'm absolutely loving this series. This is probably one of the series that I'm highly anticipating each and every week for a new episode. They really have my attention right now. I don't believe that these Ultraman series are super long. Something tells me that they're like 25 episodes long. So we're almost at the mid finale, or like the midpoint of this season. I am curious if I'm curious as to how this works, because of the fact that this is my first live action series tackling. I am curious if they do like a mid-season finale and take like a week or two hiatus or longer and then come back with new episodes. I don't know how that works when it comes to Ultraman, but I guess I'll find out. But this week, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Ultraman Trigger, we did get some new information in regards to a new form that we could be getting from Ultraman. And this is our very first glimpse into it. I'll go ahead and bring this image up, but I definitely want to go ahead and talk about what we could potentially be getting from Ultraman Trigger going forward, as this is again from the Tokusatsu Network, saying Ultraman Trigger's new form and Ultraman Ribot. I don't know why I want to call him Ribbit, like a frog. Ultraman Ribot to fight together in upcoming episodes. So it says, following the recent announcement of the Ultra Galaxy fight, the Destined Crossroad, Super Riot Productions has announced that the upcoming episodes of Ultraman Trigger will feature a new godlike form called the Glitter Trigger Eternity. The new form serves as an homage to the Glitter Tiga form seen in Ultraman Tiga's finale, and will be appearing by the end of Ultraman Trigger's first half. That's interesting to me that it mentions its first half. So I would assume by episodes 12, episode 13, we could be seeing this form. And just based off alone of what we wind up getting in this episode this past week of Ultraman sort of confronting the Eternity Core for the very first time, I do wonder if this is going to be the culmination of what eventually happens at the end of this storyline. Maybe that's how we get our Glitter Trigger Eternity godlike form. I am fascinated to see. So yeah, that's I'm assuming that's the image or the suit itself. It says, following this Ultraman second half, our hero will briefly be joined by Ultraman Ribot. During this time, a human form of Ribot is to be played by actor Shimba Tsuchiya. Mr. Tsuchiya is the younger brother of Tao Tsuchiya, the lead heroine of Ultraman Zero, The Revenge of Balal, and was awarded as the best new actor in the 15th Sayu Awards. Oh, interesting. Okay. And he gave this following quote about his role in Trigger. He says, I had a major admiration for superheroes in my youth. When I was in ninth grade, I started attending the action studio created by Hideyoshi Awada, who has been playing the main Ultra heroes in recent years. From there on, my 3 years in high school was all about action training. At the timing, when I was about to enter the university, my tutor told me to start thinking seriously about my future and what I really wanted to do for the rest of my life. My answer to this was to become a voice actor. 7 years have passed, and today I'm going to play a role in the Ultraman series. I hope I'm able to connect the light shined from Ultraman Trigger with the light that I received from the heroes I look up to as a child. So yeah, we got some another crossover it looks like we're going to be getting. We did just have Ultraman Z's crossover with Ultraman Trigger earlier in this season, and it seems as though now we're going to be getting another Ultraman crossover here for Ultraman Trigger in the second half, along with a brand new form that we're going to be getting here for the remainder of the first half. So if I'm not mistaken, I think I might have seen the Ultraman Trigger Glitter Trigger Eternity form in a preview for next week. So I'm assuming that this is probably going to pop up sometime next week, which would be a great lead-in, again, just based off of the story arc that we currently have going on right now with Ultraman Trigger, where we've got this Dark Trigger sort of facing off against Kango, the embodiment of the lighter version of Ultraman Trigger, now kind of facing off for like control of Trigger in general. So I'm wondering if this combination or this fight that winds up ensuing, if this is the new form that we wind up getting between those two. I don't know if they merge or if Kengo reigns supreme at the end of the day, but I am really fascinated in this, and I think the costume design itself looks pretty sharp, man. Looks pretty sharp. So I'm a big fan of the costume work that we have so far, and really eager to see what this remainder of the first half certainly has in store for us. Hey, listen, if you guys have been checking out Ultraman Trigger, I am curious to know your thoughts on this series so far as a whole, and how are you liking this design for this upcoming godlike form that we're going to be getting for Ultraman Trigger? I think it looks pretty sweet, if you ask me, guys. Let's see here. Um, Heroic Gangster says Ultraman Raibu is hype. I love that despite Raibu not really having his own show, he gets a cameo. He's brave and loving. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know I wasn't sure if that was like a Ultraman series itself that he was coming from, or if he was cameoing or revealed as another character someplace else. Maybe not necessarily his own show, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see here. Random. Charles says, "Hey Adam, is it allowed if I put in the URLs for my message board and blog here?" Um, Maybe once, yeah, you can. I don't mind, but just don't use this as a weekly promotion for your stuff. I don't mind it from time to time. Um, Blossom says, "I've never saw Ultraman, but I would like to. I would definitely check out Ultraman Trigger if you get if you get a chance." Blossom, it is up on YouTube. It is available for free. They do have all the episodes up there, but I would definitely recommend. Although I think they might take down some episodes after a while, but they eventually will re-upload them, because I think they take them down eventually and then re-upload them with like multiple language subtitles added or something like that, so more people can certainly watch it. But it already comes, it's in Japanese, but already comes with English subtitles, so you can watch along. Same thing for you too, Ice Cream Man. Where can I watch Ultraman Trigger? Subaraya Productions has a website, has a YouTube page, that you literally just put in Ultraman Trigger, and you'll see their videos online. But they simulcast same day for new episodes on Friday. I believe it's 7:30 Central Time. They'll air it in Japan and here on this in the States. So you get to watch it as it airs, and then you get to go back and watch it as much as you want. But then they will eventually remove it after a couple of weeks and then re-upload it with like multiple subtitles. But yeah, the Subaraya YouTube channel is where you can go ahead and check it out if you're interested in checking out Ultraman Trigger. We're only about maybe 10 or 11 episodes into the season so far. It's definitely worth checking out. This is my first season, and I've been blown away by it. Let's see here. Enrique, have you made the new Zenkaiger October magazine scans is for the upcoming episode will debut a new villain and new weapon? Yeah. After a certain time, Enrique, I stopped looking at magazine scans. I only really look at magazine scans up until maybe the midpoint of the season. Like once they start introducing us and showing us images for like the Sixth Ranger, the Six Rangers mecha, and then maybe some upcoming power ups. That's usually about where I kind of stop at, because I do want the remainder half of my seasons of Super Sentai to be a surprise, and learn things on as it comes along. So Rob says, "Did you say Kingo? No, Kengo. Kengo." Heroic Gangster says Ultraman Trigger is a good modern Ultraman show, but not really a good Tiga inspired show. I love the suits and action of the show, though. Yeah, me too. I haven't watched Tiga, but I do like some of the connective tissues that they've built so far. Adam says, "Would you be surprised if Simon's already secretly sending auditions for new casts for the next series after Dino Fury?" I don't know. He did say he was rather busy. I don't know if he's gotten any other projects that he's currently working on. But I will say, if anything, if there is another series coming after Dino Fury, I'm sure they're probably working on it. Because you got to start getting stuff ready and prepped for their reveals and casting and stuff. Because if anything, usually it's like next year, we usually would start having like reveals for who the next group of cast members are going to be. Usually that's like to us, like next year at around this time or so, or maybe a little bit earlier than that. So, um, I don't know. I don't know if casting would be taking place right now. I don't even know what Simon Bennett's currently up to. What's up, Nato? I appreciate you coming through. Thank you very much. How do you feel about the next movie is confirmed? I mean, we don't really have anything confirmed for the movie outside of that Hasbro's making one. We're under the assumption 2023 is going to be the date for its release. Anything can certainly change, but I'm excited for the new movie. Oh, I'm sorry. He says, "How do you feel about the Netflix movie? The next Netflix move being confirmed?" Um, yeah, that's what you meant. I get it now. No, I'm pumped for it. I mean, we saw this coming. This shouldn't be a surprise. Chance Perez mentioned the idea that they were going to be moving to Netflix for its second season. To be able to get confirmation though is always great. But I think we've kind of been leading into it, so it's not that much of a surprise to me. I think what is a surprise to me is maybe just the how they're rolling out the episodes, the idea of Netflix getting them, but then Nickelodeon still airing the episodes new for them technically on a weekly basis. So we were under the assumption it was certainly going to cause some confusion for fans, to say the least. But um, and I think it definitely has. But now that we're kind of seeing the end game and the results and how things are really going to be fleshing itself out, it's cool with it. I'm perfectly cool with it. I love the move. I do think future iterations of Power Rangers, whether that be after Dino Fury, whether that be the movie or anything after the movie, I definitely do think being on Netflix will be a great sort of creative freedom for the franchise. I'll definitely say that. So it definitely gets me hyped. All right, guys, and with that Ultraman story out of the way, actually, I did want to bring up one last minute thing here that I found rather interesting from Ultraman Trigger, or Ultraman Tiga, I should say. So no, Tokusatsu Network actually dropped this yesterday. It said that Ultraman Tiga is removed from platforms in China. So China's actually taking down Ultraman. It says the popular 1996 Japanese series has been removed across multiple video platforms in China. The series was removed along with a number of other children's television shows from platforms as a result of violence concerns in children's media on September 24th. It says a report given by the National Radio and Television Administration on September 24th stated that they would be banning children's media that displayed any form of violence, blood, or vulgarity in an aim to promote healthy content for the growth of children. And so, yes, as longtime fans of Ultraman Tiga took to social media to express their dismay of the show's removal due to characters' high popularity. That's China for you, though. That's China for you. I think, if anything, China's been very vocal these days about removing anything that they're not necessarily cool with. And yeah, I guess this is definitely one of them. I thought I also heard a story about them in China, like when it comes to online gaming, now putting like a restriction on how much time you can actually play online with your games and things like that. So yeah, they're definitely bringing down the hammer when it comes to content over in China. So yes, Ultraman Tiga is in fact being taken down, which is kind of crazy. Yes, Nato, we have. We talked about that very much earlier on in the episode. So I would recommend certainly going back. We talked about Dino Fury coming back, or Dino Fury being revealed on October 15th for Netflix. And then right after that story, we talked about the leaked character bios. Again, taking it with a gigantic grain of salt, since that is a script that is no longer being used, if that is in fact even. Um, the official script. But yeah. Heroic Gangster says, yeah, China is straight up tightening the leash, even with adult shows, with how men are being depicted for odd reasons. Blah, it stinks. Yeah, they're definitely doing their thing. Sub JB says, "What? Appreciate you coming through, man. Yeah, it was a rocky start to this episode. So trust me when I say like we probably started like 30 minutes late around here. So definitely a weird day so far. Weird day so far. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into some of your guys' live viewer questions though, as we tackle some of your guys' thoughts. Also, let me go ahead and bring this up. We've got quite a few today, so I'm gonna try and wrap this up by 3 o'clock because I definitely got someplace to be. I got an appointment. Let's see here. Power Rangers Legacy, or excuse me, I'm sorry. We'll get to yours, Power Rangers, but I pulled up Marcelino Vasquez first. Marcelino says, "What would you say to Power Ranger fans who say this? I don't mind Izzy being LGBTQ or being the first female Green Ranger, but I don't want it to be treated as a historic moment. There are already tons of female Rangers before, and there are movies and TV shows with LGBTQ characters at the forefront like Brokeback Mountain, Love Simon, and Moonlight. This is the same problem I have with people wanting the first Asian Red Ranger or female Red Ranger to start from start to finish. You already have a ton of representation from Asian and female Rangers like Kimberly and Amelia, and Adam to the Sudarso brothers. So, what would I say to Power Rangers fans who say they don't want it to be treated like a historic moment? I mean, you know, it is a historic moment. I mean, however they want to look at it. I mean, granted, yeah, have other movies and TV shows depicted that sort of thing. Absolutely. Power Rangers hasn't. So for Power Rangers, it is a historical moment. So they can, they can be butthurt all they want to. It is what it is, though. Marcelino says, name a Mary Sue and a Gary Sue in Power Rangers. Oh, damn. Do we have a Mary Sue or anything like that in Power Rangers? Too perfect and almost boring for lack of flaws. Originally written as an idealized version of an author in fan fiction. It's just like no flaws, absolutely too perfect. I mean, part of me wants to say Tommy, but like Tommy's had his flaws. He's had his issues throughout Power Rangers. Yeah, I don't know if there's any Power Ranger that hasn't showcased its flaws or weaknesses. I feel like a Mary Sue or a Gary Stu is like somebody that is clearly just perfect all the time, makes no mistakes, wins the day all the time, never really has any struggles. I can't think of any off the top of my head. If you guys can think of some characters, definitely let me know. Troy. Somebody says Troy. Okay. Yeah, maybe Troy. I mean, he didn't really have too many weaknesses. I mean, that's probably the only person that I can think of off the top of my head. just because they didn't really do anything with him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Heroic says, some people can say Kimberly, but even there's too much material that brings her down to earth. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody in Power Rangers. Like when I think of Troy from from Megaforce, maybe, but I think that's just lack of just terrible writing. But I can't think of anybody else. No, I don't. I can't consider Victor and Monty Gary Stews. I mean, those are just like male versions of a Mary Sue, and Victor and Monty definitely do have their flaws. Also, so yeah, the only closest person I can think of off the top of my head would probably be Troy. Did you know in the beginning of Power Ranger fans hated it when the multiverse was confirmed? The reason was that if any season took place on a parallel Earth and not on the main one, it would be easier to orphan a season and not revisit it again. For me, I was actually one of those fans that initially hated the concept of multiverse, at least in live action. I've certainly have come around to it over the years. I don't even necessarily know if, like, for me, I guess for me, I was very much still caught up in the sort of Saban era, Disney era type of stuff where I love my stuff to connect, right? Like I love it always made me laugh and scratch my head whenever we would get a new series of Power Rangers and those Power Rangers were not aware of the other Power Rangers that came before them. Like for me, I think it was more continuity wise that I love that idea. Just for context wise, I like the idea of them continuing along with where Power Rangers first started from. And I think that's what the Saban era sort of engraved in my head growing up as a kid. So the idea of then starting the concept of multiverse, and that would just mean, no, well, we can't reference things from the past. It definitely was not the biggest fan of it, but I think I eventually started coming around. I think Boom Studios Comics is probably one of the ideas that helped me swallow that a little bit more and understand it a little bit more. Um, And I think the way that they executed it and made it work with just storyline stuff made me look at Power Ranger franchise as a whole with a different lens, and made me appreciate the concept of multiverse a little bit more, being able to at least reference past stuff. And again, I think even Beast Morphers helps solidify that for me. Like the idea of it maybe being on another multiverse, but also harkening back to the past, I think really does go a long way. So I definitely have come around to it. Not so much I know you say that yeah, because that was one of my issues, was the idea that those past seasons may not be revisited again. And not to say that I wanted to see those actors and things like that actually come back, but just the concept of referencing them, was worried that we would forget where Power Rangers sort of came from. But I think once they started embracing the multiverse and they really started making it work and connect, again, I think Boom Studios did a great job of allowing me to accept that a little bit more, along with Beast Morphers too. The way that they utilized it and executed it really went a long way of me appreciating the multiversal aspect of Power Rangers, and just a lot of what it opens the doors for in regards to creativity, certainly going forward. And I think we see that happening in real life. Well, not necessarily in real life, but with like DC and Marvel and stuff like that, tapping into that element a little bit more now also. Jessica Friedman says, would you like to see Lost Galaxy or Lightspeed comic book series? Um, if I'm gonna get a comic book series, give me Lost Galaxy. Give me Lost Galaxy. I like the idea of being in space. I think it opens up the concept of new characters you can certainly introduce. So if I had to choose out of those two for what I would want as a comic book series, probably Lost Galaxy. Um, Adam Perea and Power Rangers Legacy's got some long emails, so I will skip those for now, but I will come back to them. AJ, how excited are you now that the second half of Dino Fury season 1 is definitely coming to Netflix? How do you think you will do your videos of the episode? Yeah, I am starting to think that I probably will still stick with my one episode a week. I probably will personally be watching the episode itself, but then I probably will be watching all the episodes on Netflix when they drop, but I probably still will be dropping my reviews on a weekly basis to at least match up with that of Nickelodeon. So yeah. But yeah, super excited, super excited. Why do you think Power Rangers seasons from In Space to Wild Force were considered some of the best and darkest mature seasons in the franchise, even with MMPR? I just think times were different. I don't think that they minded pushing the storyline elements a little bit more. I think a lot of these characters had I do wonder if they, when they first started MMPR and they started going seasons 2 and 3, and then started switching it up with other ones, I wonder if they started realizing to themselves, like, we've been bringing these characters and this storyline along for such a long time that these fans that have been following us from day one, they've probably matured and they've probably grown up some. So I feel like they were probably riding towards their base, their fan base, in a sense that, we continue to move along with these characters continue to mature and grow. And we're going into these new seasons and exploring things. I think maybe they had the capacity and wherewithal to know who their their viewer base was, and went a little bit more mature with the times based off of the age range of the kids from the first season of MMPR still sticking around after all those years and coming up with Power Rangers. So I think it made them one have to stick with their fan base a little bit, but because of the fact that we were getting older too, maybe push the envelope just a little bit more and showing a different side to it. So I just think just the time period in which we were back in the day significantly different, I think. This is a stupid question. Do you think some of the old Super Sentais from the 2000s are what made older fans of Power Rangers are asking for when it comes to future seasons? That it's dark and gritty, like the Rangers drinking and cursing? If not, what do you consider an adult Power Rangers series should be? We know some kids will try to watch anyways. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with the cursing. Maybe not overboard, but I don't mind a couple of curse words. And I don't necessarily even think it's so much as it being dark and gritty, so much as it is just wanting something more that represents the reality in which that we live in these days. The Power Rangers stuff that we get now, and I would even go so far as to say sometimes even the current Super Sentai stuff that we get feels very much trapped in the bubble of like a kid's world, you know eliminating a lot of the real world focuses that we get these days, um by fluffing it up with rainbows and sunshines and lollipops. um like the biggest issue for a Power Ranger is, oh my god, is what news report is my mom going to reveal today that, I don't know, like the biggest problems in Power Rangers these days are not problems that people deal with on a regular basis. um so I don't necessarily know if it's the Super Sentai seasons from the 2000s that fans are looking at and saying we want our shows like that. But I think a lot of those shows, they probably were just very current with the times and probably just expressed the real world that we're living in. whereas these days, not so much. Um, Yeah, adding more stakes. Heroic says, to me, an adult Power Rangers show should just try to have stories with stakes and something that pumps you up. There needs to be a good emotional tone direction if Power Rangers becomes adult first. And I do think that just means, tackling everyday problems and bigger problems. Um, so yeah, maybe some curse words. Just give me a teenagers that actually act like current teenagers that have real teenager problems these days that they've got to focus on, and finding a great balance between the real world but also the sci-fi and the fantastical. um but definitely its own thing. And I think the idea of not having Super Sentai footage to have to work around will allow you to be a little bit more creative and maybe get out of some of that, because it feels very much like Power Rangers and Super Sentai these days have very much fallen back into the mindset of expressing stories for young children. Johnny Marrero, what's up, Johnny? Couple questions from Johnny. What do you hope Hasbro will announce for Power Rangers on Hasbro PulseCon? So maybe further insight into Dino Fury, maybe making a full-time move over to Netflix next season. I'm not expecting a trailer or anything like that, but it would be great for them to talk a little bit about Dino Fury's move to Netflix. Maybe have a better understanding of what the release schedule is going to be would be nice. Netflix season 2 of Dino Fury coming to Netflix, in 2 parts or whatever the case may be. That would be pretty cool. Maybe even getting the current cast of Dino Fury back up there this time with this time with Jordan Fight there to go ahead and do a actual review or thoughts on his character coming back, being debuted for the first time. So yeah, maybe the cast once again to be there. And then when it comes to maybe some toy stuff for Lightning Collection, future plans that Hasbro has when it comes to toys and things like that. And then when it comes to movie wise, maybe just giving us a release date that they have in mind, and maybe some minor details, maybe like a brief plot synopsis, um, or hell, maybe have Jonathan Entwistle at least come out and give like a brief little presentation of where his mind is in regards to the vision of Power Rangers kind of going forward. So I'm not expecting, um, yeah, I'm not necessarily expecting huge news for the Power Rangers movie itself, though. Let's see here. Are you stoked that the next new batch, second half of Dino Fury, is officially coming to Netflix before they air on Nickelodeon? Um, yeah, I'm super pumped. I wasn't sure if we were going to get this type of announcement. That was one of the things that we said, I believe, was like, maybe if we get one before announcement before October, that would be great. And they like just barely came in the nick of time to go ahead and give us this information. So yeah, no, I'm pumped, man. I'm really pumped about it. Do you think we could see Zeo comics in the near future from Boom Studios in the direction that they're going with MMPR and Power Rangers so far? Yes, I do expect Zeo to eventually be the next iteration of Power Rangers that they tackle. So yes, I do believe so. Doomsday. What is your top 6 favorite Wild Force Power Rangers? All right. I'm assuming you're talking about the cast. Probably first and foremost is probably going to be Danny. Danny's probably my fave out of the season. So I'll probably go with Danny. Um, hmm. Now you put me on the spot like this. I never really thought about breaking it down in regards to like my favorite Wild Force Rangers. Hmm. Danny is definitely there for me. Danny, probably followed by Cole, Taylor, Alyssa, Merrick, and Max. Unfortunately, Max was like my least favorite character. I loved his relationship with Danny and their friendship, to certainly say the least. I did enjoy that. But as far as Max as a character individually, wasn't necessarily the biggest fan. But Danny, Cole, and Taylor are probably my top three. Alyssa, Merrick, and then Max. Let's see here. Do you find it weird that in the Neo Saban era, the openings were a minute long, but suddenly in the Hasbro era, it's like a rule from Nickelodeon that the openings have to be 30 minutes long? Yeah, I do wonder what changed with Nickelodeon. I wonder why they reduced it, but I do believe that's a Nickelodeon era rule, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, super weird to me. Even though, because I've always felt like there are other characters on this show that should be highlighted in the credits, like um, Warden Garcia, I think, should be up there from time to time. Even Jane and Jay Borg, I think, should be up there also. Um, and then maybe even Solon as the voice actors, like maybe even her name should be up there too. Even though Lauren from Super Samurai was a Red Ranger during the last 5 episodes, would you consider her the first official female Red Ranger? Um, I do. I do. But I will say this, while I look at her very much as the first official female Red Ranger, um I still feel like I like leader of a team, first official female red leader of the team, I definitely think is something that is certainly up for grabs. You know, in the sense of being the leader from the very beginning, you know. Um so yeah, even though she's only appears in 5 episodes, I do consider her our first official female red. Like we did have A Squad Red, very much a side character though. Doesn't really show up too much in the series itself, so I don't really consider her official female red. But the fact that Lauren does have a role to play in the series, I do consider her an official female Red Ranger. But as far as like female Red Ranger leader, yeah, we still I probably am not going to put Lauren in that category as of yet. Let's see here. L'Oreal's got a questions. What are your thoughts about Common Rider Shin, or Shin Kamen Rider? He looks scary. I mean, well, it's the same concept. It's the same costume from the 1970s, just modernized a little bit. So yeah, maybe that Common Rider back in the day was a little bit maybe scary for for some people back then. I'm not quite sure how that costume came across, but I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it. I'm still curious about Lord Zed reappearing. How do you think he came back? I'm still trying to figure out I'm still trying to figure out to myself how he comes back, you know? Like I'm still under the impression that he could potentially be Slither in disguise, but you know, I'm starting to think more and more against that. But I don't know. I haven't really read anything. So how he comes back or how he plays a role, I have no idea, but I'm still very curious about it. Thanks again for the kudos for my adaptation for Tokuger, aka Power Rangers Imaginatrix. I know you didn't get the joke I sent you, but I still say Kakihara is a dolphin chirp, but I'm not swearing type. So you censor yourself. I mean, that's cool. I just didn't get the dolphin chirp, but hey, if that's your form of censoring, I love it. I love it. What time is it? 2:37. All right. I'm gonna have to blaze through these for Power Rangers Legacy and Adam Perea because they are very long. Why Beast Morphers was the great first attempt at Power Rangers by Hasbro. So I'm gonna have to read through this quickly, guys. So bear with me. Um, while Beast Morphers was an excellent first series at Power Rangers, it was, however, handed over by Saban during its acquisition. I love that the Rangers were created by the military government organization similar to Lightspeed Rescue. It was insane that Grid Battle Force manipulated the morphing grid to mess with humans' DNA for Devin, Zoe, Ravi, Nate, and Steel. It was amazing that Commander Shaw was the first woman commander in Power Rangers history. While we didn't have another comedy duo with Ben and Betty, while we did have another comedy duo with Ben and Betty, they were indeed much better than Victor and Monty from the series we do not speak of. Those still suffer from ridiculous physical comedy, ruining the momentum of episodes. I definitely agree. The Rangers have animal DNA was a good way for Sentai footage to be used at times. It was so cool that the Blue Ranger was the son of Commander Shaw. Devin being the son of the mayor was a great way to show us that families don't get along, are perfect. Speaking of families, we saw family members of each of the cast except for Blaze. The series did very well with using a lot of original footage rather than rely on Super Sentai footage like past Neo Saban eras. Ravi having a big story arc in season 1 was well done by having Roxy in a coma alongside Blaze while their villain doppelgangers ran around causing trouble. Evox was a great villain for the series. Season 1 had an excellent cliffhanger with Mayor Daniels and Evox merging into one. Mayor Daniels eventually got to learn that Devin was a Power Ranger and made Mayor realize that Devin isn't a slacker but a superhero. Season 2, for the most part, was good, but definitely went downhill and had issues until the second half, like Human Blaze and Roxy being useless after being freed from the evil twins. Devin and his rivalry with Blaze was completely ignored. We had an excellent build up with the two crossovers with Dino Charge and Jason. Even though the Dino crossovers itself was mixed, it was nice seeing Jason again and the team up with past Rangers. To finish off, second half of season 2 was indeed way better than the first half, which is unfortunately flyers, fillers, and lessons of the day episodes. Hasbro has definitely made a terrific job. Done a terrific job with Power Ranger or with Beast Morphers as a whole while adjusting to the transition of the franchise by Saban, and so glad they've done a marvelous job with Dino Fury so far as their first full series. He grades Beast Morphers with a B+. Power Rangers Legacy, how I would fix Super Mega Force and the Legendary Battle. We all know that Super Mega Force was a huge disappointment after 2 years of hype and over-advertised return of Tommy. First off, I would have the Mega Force Rangers lose their powers completely, and instead, Gosai tells them that the Ranger keys that were all over the command center would allow them to morph into any past Rangers by using new morphers, and also allow them to morph into Super Mega Force Rangers. Gosai would also give a brief explanation that the Super Mega Force Power Rangers were found in an ancient pirate ship on planet Aquitar. This would actually give us knowledge of the suits being pirate themed because of Gokaiger. That would be pretty cool. All of the Rangers will have backstories and character development. Even Troy, his visions of the legendary battle would be revealed by Gosei, that he gave them those visions, letting him know that Gosei would be watching over him since he was a kid. The the Ranger keys would no longer have a dumb time limit, so they can stay as their legendary Rangers at any time. The sky ship itself with the forms that forms the legendary Megazord would be renamed as the Sky Ship Megazord. The ship itself would be where the Super Mega Force morphers were kept and hidden in Aquitar. Orion would be Gosai's son, who is half human and half alien. His morpher had access to all the past 6 and extra Rangers. I would eliminate all the unknown Sentai suits per Zyuranger. To explain Robot Knight's absence, we get a flashback to at the end of Megaforce, where Robot Knight finds Orion frozen after coming to Earth from space. Robo Knight sacrifices his life source and transfers his power to Orion, freeing him. The entire second season, we have 10 veteran Rangers do cameos based off of their series and more original footage. We do have other veteran Rangers return by using holograms. The 10 Rangers would have returned. They would use Ranger keys to morph in order to explain that there are real characters from their series. All of them were contacted by Gosei. The legendary battle itself would be 3 parts, not entirely original footage. 10 of their veteran Rangers would have new HD morph sequences. We see each of the 10 Rangers fighting. Tommy able to allow Damon and Mike to use his Dragon Shield and Dragon Flute to strike the X-Borgs. All their legendary Rangers present the Super Mega Force Rangers to do their finishing moves, destroying the remaining X-Borgs and Emperor Mavro. After that, everyone except the 10 Rangers teleport in rainbow colors. We get small interactions between the veterans and the Megaforce cast. Then Gosei teleports them back to their lives, though we do get a bit of reference to what the veteran Rangers been doing since their series ended. Wes is married to Jen and have kids. Tom is married to Kat and have a son named JJ. Mike and Emily are a couple. Leo is married to Kendricks and they have a family. Damon is married and owns a engineer company. Both TJ and Cassie live on Earth with other space rangers they've all become parents. Carter and Dana are parents to a girl and boy. And finally, Corona is married to Zane and have twins. Finally, we can't pitch this to Hasbro, unfortunately. So finally, the Megaforce team decided to return to normal lives, give Gosei back their powers. We get a scene of Gia telling Jake that she likes him and they kiss on the lips. Troy mentions he wants to return to studying martial arts. Noah wants to be a computer professor when he goes to college. Emma opens her own photography store, and Orion returns to Aquitar with Gosei and Tensu. The end. All right, not bad. Yeah, I'm still on, Mikey. Saraf, big fan of the pitch. A+ he gives it. Byron says someone pitch this to Hasbro. Please don't. Please don't, guys. Stop with the pitching of stuff to Hasbro. The moment you pitch stuff to Hasbro, they officially cannot use it. Legality, they officially cannot use it. So if you want to turn this into something, turn this into fan fiction or write this and keep this to yourself. And when you do become a writer over at Hasbro, pitch it then. But please no writing and randomly pitching stuff to Hasbro because you're just shooting yourself in the foot. And they're not going to be able to use any of it anyway. Brian Lee, what's up, Brian? He says, imagine if Netflix got a license to adapt Kamen Rider. That would be awesome. That would be pretty awesome. It'd be interesting to see exactly what it looks like. Andrew, he's got a couple questions. Hey, Adam, big fan of your YouTube channel. I have some stuff for you about Dino Fury. What do you think of Dino Fury so far, and what do you want to see that will differentiate the series even more from other seasons? I mean, I think they're already differentiating themselves already, but I would like to see just how deep of a dive they go into these characters, and what other type of surprises that they certainly might have in store for us. But yeah, I'm loving Dino Fury so far. I truly am. I think it's an incredible season. Only 11 episodes in, and I'm loving all the characters. The villains are pretty legit. Also, really love Void Knight along with Slither. And Mucus is a great comedy relief also in regards to that. So I really love the chemistry, even of the villains and the heroes, which is it's a rarity for me. So I'm actually a really big fan of both sides of the coin here. And do you think Zeta will continue to have a storyline in season 2? We know Devin and Beast Morphers took a back seat in season 2. I do think so. I do think that they will flesh out Zeto's storyline even more in season 2. I don't know if everything's gonna be fully resolved, but I'm expecting if anybody else gets a bump up in season 2, I gotta think it'll be Javi and Izzy, or at least more of Javi. Because I really want some answers in regards to this Warden Garcia storyline. So I'm hoping Javi starts taking more of a front seat. There might be some stuff here for Zato and Ion, but it wouldn't surprise me if like Amelia and Javi maybe start turning into the focus for season 2. What do you think Power Rangers is still? Why do you think Power Rangers is still going to this day? Probably because it's cheap and the toy sales still go. I mean, viewership continues to drop on a weekly basis, it feels like, for Power Rangers. So I think if anything, one, because it's a kids show and it does hold some value. especially when it comes to selling toys, and it's made for cheap. They're not really busting the bank right now to do anything vastly different, or so, like, over the years at least. But people love heroes in costumes. I think kids are always going to love that type of stuff. So I think Power Rangers tends to be a money machine. Maybe not like a lot of money, but they probably continue to make back what they get, or what they put forward. Adrian's got a couple questions too. Has the rest of Dino, Adrian Perez, appreciate you coming through, Adrian. Has the rest of Dino Fury been confirmed to be coming to Netflix this month? Yes, they have. Um, or at least season one. Season one. The rest of season one of Dino Fury is coming to Netflix this month. October 15th is the day. Do you think the episodes will be consistent or be lessons of the day? I think it'll be a combination of both. I don't think there's any way to get around Power Rangers without a lesson of the day episode. So I'm pretty sure it'll be probably a mixture of both. Do you think Izzy coming out as LGBTQ will be a very special episode or rushed? I haven't watched the episode yet. I will be interested to see exactly how it comes about. I don't necessarily feel that it's going to be rushed, but it would not surprise me if it's at least further explored during the remainder of the season. I do think that it's something that they will go back to and enrich that storyline for the character a little bit more. Favorite memories of the Disney era seasons? Um, I definitely remember Adam Park's return in Operation Overdrive. I really wasn't the biggest fan of that season itself, but I do remember that episode and it being fantastic. I absolutely love Ninja Storm. Ninja Storm for me was such a breath of fresh air. The three Rangers. I don't know if they got new showrunners or what, but the move to Disney I thought was really fantastic. Those are some of my favorite memories outside of like RPM being incredible and stuff. But I just remember initially watching the Disney era stuff and thinking to myself, those were some definitely big moments that stood the test of time for me. Let's see here. All right, I think that's it, man. I think that's all the questions that I have. Sorry if I had to go through some of these questions in a hurry. But yeah, us starting late today really jacked me up, man, in regards to the timing of this episode. So I apologize, guys. But yeah, I think that's going to be all of our live viewer questions for the day. So thank you very much, guys, for certainly coming through. And listen, if you're here in the live chat, if you continue to love our content, hit that big thumbs up, guys. It definitely does go a long way. And I'm really hoping next weekend, guys, I will in fact be back with another live episode, but it will not be this chaotic. I promise you. I promise you guys. We definitely will be starting on time. And if anything, I think we get the opportunity to review um our very first new episode of Netflix, or our very first new episode of Dino Fury when we come back next weekend. So that'll be definitely interested to look forward to. I know you had a what if for me, Byron, but again, there's sometimes I miss comments, so I'm not going to get to everybody's comments. If you clearly have a comment that you feel that you really want shown online, you got to send in a question, man. He says, "What if Zato didn't wake up and Solon gave the Dino key to Hunter, aka Amelia Jones?" I mean, that would be a cool what if. She clearly would then become the Ranger and the leader of the team, and with her having a significant role this season, it would be fitting. But yeah, we'll see. Power Rangers Ready says not next week, after next week. No, I believe Nickelodeon shows a brand new episode next Saturday, the 19th. I believe that's episode 12, if I'm not mistaken. And then on the 15th is Netflix. So yes, next weekend, next Saturday, I believe October 9th, should be episode 12, which has not aired on Netflix or Nickelodeon or anywhere else. But I believe that's correct. I know Fury. Oh, I gotta go to this article here. Let me see. Yeah, episode 12, Super Hot Shot. Izzy is convinced a new coach is going to make her athletics to the next level. However, her training aspirations are put to the test when she discovers the coach's true motivations. October 9th, Nickelodeon. That's a brand new episode. So we will be getting um, a new episode next week. So yeah, we will be back with new episodes for you guys. So I definitely will be reviewing episode number 12 for you guys next week. So certainly go ahead and join us then. So yeah, we're back, guys. We're back. It should be a great time. So let's go ahead and rejoin up here again next Saturday at noon Central Time for our new episode. But other than that, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it for us here. If anything, we do have an Ultraman Trigger review later on this week, more Deca Ranger reactions, more Zenkaiger reviews for you guys also, and other fresh content headed your guys' way. But until then, that's going to do it for us here, but we'll certainly see you guys next week. In the meantime, as always, do me a big favor. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. Have a good one, guys. Talk to you later. Bye. If you enjoy our content and want to be a part of helping our channel grow, become a patron supporter. We have affordable tiers to choose from that offer a variety of exclusive and early access content, from audio files for all of our shows for you to enjoy on the road, access to our Discord community, and plenty of reactions, reviews, character breakdowns, and more. Check us out at patreon.com/aplusopinions. And as always, remember, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so anytime we drop a brand new video, you will be notified.